This video features high-end, limited edition collectibles and is intended for adult collectors.
Grab a snack, pour yourself a drink. We're gonna be here for a little bit. Hey guys, welcome to Toy Chat. This is Max.
And Sang.
So, we know this video is kind of long overdue, so thank you to everyone who has been patient and bearing with us, but we are officially ready to get started with the haul of our Integrity Toys Legendary Convention dolls. I'm sure, those of you who've been following us for a while, I'm sure you already know what that's all about, what to expect. If for whatever reason, you're newer, you're not totally sure what's going on, I will link our Integrity Toys playlist in the description below, as well as our past 3 videos of Integrity Toys Legendary Convention coverage, which was the very first virtual convention in Integrity Toys history, and we did 3 videos which discussed basically our first impressions on all of these dolls, as well as just kind of our assessment of the virtual experience. So that is not going to be addressed at all in this video. This video is purely going to be a haul of the dolls we received, and we in total have every single doll from the Legendary Convention except for 3. There are 2 that we just don't have currently on hand because they haven't arrived, and that is Charmed Child Ayumi and Wicked Narcissism Eugenia Perrin Frost. They have not arrived yet. We don't have them on hand. That was part of the reason why it took so long for us to cobble together the hauls for these videos, aside from the fact that we just had a lot of work for the editing and everything to do from the initial first impression videos. But on top of that, it took us a really long time to receive all of our dolls. But at this point, we have all of them except for Ayumi and Eugenia, which Sang and I both do expect to receive. We also do not have Power of Influence Declan Wake, because that is the only doll from the entire convention that neither Sang nor I purchased. But aside from those 3, we're going to be covering every doll from the convention in these hauls, and we're pretty sure the way we're going to break it up is in 2 videos total. So in this video, you can expect a haul of the convention collection and Salesroom exclusives, as well as the giveaways. So essentially the dolls that were, free, complimentary with purchase of the convention ticket. We do also want to say, thank you so much to everyone who watched our initial trio of convention videos. The reception seemed very warm and very positive, and we know a lot of you guys have been commenting and DMing us to give you the haul. So again, we apologize it took so long, but we're going to be kicking that off today.
Before we start on the actual dolls that are available right now, we're going to talk about 2 things first. Of course, we're going to give you guys the inspirations behind some of these dolls, because they are, a lot of them, recreations of past grails. We are kind of newer collectors of IT in the last few years, so a lot of this information we've gotten from a few different sources, and we like to credit the W Club. A lot of members there have been fans for many years, and they have noticed all the inspirations coming from the names as well as the design of these dolls. Also a blogspot website by Jessica or Robin. I think her name is Jessica, but she goes by Robin on the W Club. She has a blogspot called Desperately Seeking Dolls. Very great resource of wealth about history of IT, because IT dolls are very hard to come across in terms of references and back catalogs, but she has this wonderful, well-written blog all about them, and I got a lot of information off of there, as well as another doll website called Fashion Doll Chronicles, and they also do a bunch of more recent commentary as well as show you the dolls, and we found a lot of good sources on there as well. So I'll put those in the description, and you can check it out. I recommend it. And then the other thing we want to talk about is, I know a lot of people have been asking us about the Agnes that's on the packaging, and that did not show up at the convention. I know last time we filmed it prior to them unveiling her, and now that we've seen her, we can give you guys our thoughts on what we thought of her overall.
Yeah, I guess we may as well start with her. As Sang said, we had not yet seen the full unveiling of her, through the W Club email in our last videos, but now we have. I know there has just been so much controversy and hoopla over that Agnes, and there's a lot of people who seemed a little bit shocked, and they're saying oh, she looks so different, from that promo image. My suspicion is that in person, I think, that kind of green shimmery eyeshadow that she has with a little, touches of lavender, I'm sure that that will pop in person depending on angles and lighting, which you kind of have to expect, you know, for any given doll. And obviously promotional pictures are going to have extra, you know, flair and lighting and saturation.
A common design choice that Jesse likes to do is he likes working with these iridescent kind of metallic makeup. So sometimes when you photograph them, they'll look different than what they look like in person. So I'm assuming it's like that. I know the backlash was very severe for this Agnes. I remember reading on the forums and a lot of people were really upset that she didn't look like this promo image. Jesse had to take his own pictures of her and, you know, post it on his social media. Yeah. I mean, the picture he has personally taken of her does look similar to the promo image that we've seen. So I have hope that she looks great. And I think, her makeup's gorgeous. I think she looks great. I think part of the reason why people also don't like her is not just her makeup, it's just how severe her hair is pulled back.
Yeah, I've seen the paintbrush comparisons is what I've seen a lot of people, you know, posting about. But, you know, I definitely think that she will be a really fun and vivacious doll to photograph and to redress. I think the thing with her outfit too, and kind of expanding on Sang's point, I think the drama over her would have been a little bit different if the presentation of her and introduction of her would have been a little bit different. I think the fact that they pushed so much hype, you know, over this little teaser convention image, and people were just freaking out about it the whole con. Like we were like, oh my god, that screening looks stunning, and it's just like this just rainbowy color pop. And then the convention dolls didn't really have, for the most part, that similar of a theme. And then when they revealed in full the Agnes, she wasn't quite like, we were expecting something very, very modern, flashy, you know, like I was almost expecting this one of two different directions, like maybe like a pastel Agnes, which would have been super unique, and if not that, then like a really like hot pink, you know, color pop, modern, wearing a hot little number kind of Agnes. And it seems like Jessie went in more of a direction of something kind of more classy and elegant, and almost kind of like that high fashion toga look, which for me personally is just a personal taste thing. I'm not really into like the toga incorporation of like those little fabric sashes. It's just a personal taste thing for me. And also her color palette, like having that splash of yellow. We've gotten a couple different yellow color palette gown dolls in semi-recent history. I've seen a lot of color like edits people made of her, of like if that outfit were instead like a hot pink or a royal blue, that it maybe would have like matched her makeup.
That's true. I mean, I do agree with you on the fact that our expectations were so high. I think sometimes you have to consider Jessie's designing this, and we have some expectations of Jessie's designs. And I think we forget that Agnes belongs in the fashion royalty line. And so she's a bit more high-end. I can understand why she's in a gown. Because in my head, I'm expecting something a bit more like sexy or like more modern. And I think that's more of a New Face look. So maybe that's where my perception of what I was expecting is kind of off. And I think the color palette, as I can understand why she was silver and yellow and she had red hair. It's a recreation of Optic Verb. Optic Verb had a yellow and silver dress. But yeah, I think the problem is, like, even I have to agree, like the fact that the yellow piece and this really gorgeous kind of like gem infused silver dress.
The stoned tights, people were making a big deal
about. The stoned tights are really gorgeous too. It's just the fact that her dress was one piece, I think some people were thrown off because it's so modern in terms of like high risk, kind of like more like fashion forward gown. I think some people, it's kind of like a weird blend of New Face and FR. And it's just like it yo-yos between that line where like it's, you want to be high-end, at the same time you want to be edgy, and it's like just this doll kind of falls in between. People end up being a little disappointed because of that.
We're excited to see her in person. I'm sure we'll end up reviewing her, on our channel when we receive her. Sang and I, of course, we both ordered her.
I got two.
Yes, I have a suspicion that screening is going to be stunning.
Oh, for sure.
I think the screening will be incredible. But you can sound off in the comments, let us know what y'all's first impressions of Agnes are. We'll have a more in-depth conversation about that after we see her in person and, review her. So stay tuned for that. But we're gonna go ahead and just jump into this haul. So yeah, this haul is gonna have to be split into 2 videos, and I'm already telling y'all right now, even being split into 2, it's gonna be a doozy in both videos. So grab a snack, pour yourself a drink. We're gonna be here for a little bit. But this first video is going to be, the convention collection and Salesroom exclusives alongside with the giveaways. And then the second video will be the Style Lab and the Centerpieces. And then so from there, that'll be everything in the convention. So I guess we can just get started with our first doll.
So first off, so I'm sorry about this box. Let's just talk about the box first. So my box fell apart. I don't know, it arrived like this. It was not me.
Oh my god.
Yeah. I mean, it's nice.
Yeah.
It came out really easy and fast.
The giveaway boxes are always kind of flimsy. It was the same in like every convention that we've experienced so far.
But here we go. This is Agnes again. It's a very lovely metallic box.
Really reflective.
But I just want to mention, this is a gorgeous image, and I love this image so much. Like, I would want it on a bumper sticker, I would want it as a poster, I would want it as
a blown up photograph in your house.
Underwear. I just think it's overkill on the packaging.
Yeah, I agree with saying it's a beautiful image, but I think using it as the package for the whole con, and we already addressed this in the previous video, it's just weird, like opening a box covered in Agnes's face and then a stand with Agnes's face, and then inside is like a poppy. It's just, I do like the color scheme. Something I do like about the packaging with these, as we'll eventually see too, especially with like the accessory packs and stuff. I like how it has an overall vibe of luxury makeup packaging. I appreciate that they went with something kind of thematic this convention, so I appreciate the color palette and that, but it's a lot of Agnes's face.
Yeah.
But, you can let us know your comments on the packaging below. But of course, we have to get started with the welcome doll, and that was Carry On Janae. I already shared in the first impressions that I was like, yeah, she's cute. I really like Janae. I like Janae's, I like her sculpt. One of my, favorite dolls from the Luxe Lifestyle Lab was that Janae. And seeing this one in person, she is quite cute. I think my opinion on her has stayed about the same. I think this overall ensemble, it's very cute. It's not completely my personal taste, but what you really do appreciate more in person is kind of the subtle little differences in tones of her hair. It's kind of like, it feels like it's like a golden brunette, which is super cute.
So I actually really like this Janae. I think she, as a casual fan of Sex and the City, like this is hardcore Carrie. This is her signature look with like the big blouse and like the little oversized flower, and then this tulle skirt. It's very Sex and the City. So I think she's gorgeous, and we kind of want to mention like her face, like the screening they use can tend to look kind of wonky, like that. It's very angular, and I think sometimes when they have that kind of look, it looks really wonky head on, so you kind of have to tilt it. Like her screening reminds me of like the Disney limited edition dolls, because they have different size eyes, especially the ones that look like off to the side. So I can see that, but I think that's just how she is.
Mine looks really wonky.
Yeah, head on, I'm like, mine's pretty
Yours
wonky.
Is less so, but mine looks super wonky. So I think it might just be the screening. But yeah, Janae's really cute. I love Janae as a character, and I'd like to see her sculpt, more often. So.
Oh, I love these little buckles that she has on her little sleeves.
Oh, that's adorable.
Yeah.
Her jewelry and I do really like that little gold color pop of her shoes. I like that little splash of gold, and her jewelry is super cute.
Yeah, I like her.
All right, so next up we have Miami Glam Senya Valentinova, and she was the giveaway of the welcome event.
Yes, the welcome gala.
Yes. My opinion on her has not changed from my first impressions, but so she is inspired more than just inspired. I would say a recreation of Miami Glow Vanessa Perrin. Very similar screening. They even, it's like the same hair color, just about the same hair color. And we kind of made connotations to, I almost feel like she looks like a young Donatella Versace. I don't know if the number she's wearing is Versace inspired.
I feel like it is. I think Versace has a very like the
BDSM.
BDSM kind of like straps
and stuff. Yeah, she's a little monochromatic for my taste. I think like the tan colored dress with the blonde hair, and Senya in general, I feel like Senya's a little bit of a polarizing character because she has like that, you know, the open mouth. I loved, you know, Boudoir collection Senya, but even that one, you need to like work her angles because she has just a face with like the teeth and everything that she just is kind of interesting looking from certain angles. My impression is this Senya has been pretty popular. She's very runway, very high fashion.
I think Senya never looked better. I think she looks great in this skin tone, this hair color. Yeah, I mean, the giveaway dolls are very basic in terms of what you're getting. I'm not gonna knock them off for being like basic, and she's very unique in terms of Senya. Although she is a recreation of another doll, I think that doll's so old that, you know, this is a lovely replacement or an addition to that. Next up, we have a Poppy, and this was the giveaway for the Poppy Gala, the second night. This is lovely and Lilac Poppy Parker, and she's based on Lilac Frost Poppy, which was a W Club exclusive several years ago. She's lovely. I think her hair is way too high. Adds an extra like inch to her head.
Yeah, I'll maybe share a picture of the one I received. The bump on mine is straight up Elvira. it's a massive bump. The screening and the hairdo in general are given some serious Hello New York Poppy vibes from the Model Traveler collection. I'm of the opinion that this doll is just a little too redundant of Poppies we've already received very recently, and yeah, I'm also of the opinion there were too many bumps and like high ponytails and stuff on Poppy in general, both in this convention and just recently. The doll is not so much doing it for me just because she's so similar to a bunch of other stuff we've gotten, but the outfit is precious, and I think, you know, something really special, of course, is, you know, David Buttry mentioned during the convention that he was able to use the same brocade, I think, of fabric that he originally used for Lilac Frost Poppy, which is pretty crazy. And this is gorgeous lavender fabric, and there's, you know, like a little bit of this iridescent glitter, almost, it looks like threading to it, like it's, you know, and I love the puffed sleeves and beautiful outfit, and it's so cute because it's like really short shorts and just like little pockets. The outfit, love it. Doll is just kind of samey to me.
I think that's what a lot of people had issues with this Poppy collection. This year has been very heavy on this kind of screening, so you know, they were expecting something a little different. Also, Lilac Frost was not a very popular doll in terms of Poppy.
I love her. She was so pretty.
She was
pretty. More so, I guess the outfit was very defining for her. But.
Yeah, but I think we were expecting a bit more like older Poppy, like Grails. She's pretty. Again, her inspiration is something that we weren't expecting.
All right, so we are wrapping up our giveaway dolls with, of course, the convention doll, which was Celebration Ameline, or Emeline. We never know.
Ameline. We're just call it Ameline.
And it's crazy because the Netta Porter edition of her that was released was just instant sellout, you know, insanely popular, and Sang and I did not get her, and I'm like,
I didn't bother.
I'm wondering if I regret that because she was really expensive though. She was like $300. Yeah. And she's in her inflation, her second market prices are really wild even beyond that. So yeah, as we mentioned before, this is a resizing of the 16-inch avant-garde Integrity Toys dolls that were released quite a while ago. It was like...
We're talking about the sculpt, not the actual doll.
The sculpt, yeah, the Ameline sculpt. And Celebration was the convention doll, and it's a Jason Wu doll, so she is wearing, of course, a scaled-down version of a real-world Jason Wu ensemble. And the dress is lovely in person. I think this is kind of a recurring theme we see with Jason Wu dolls. If I'm being really frank, the screenings that tend to be chosen for Jason Wu dolls are rarely my favorite, especially because his muses are very often like the very gaunt kind of, you know, fashion model aesthetic, but this is not as much that. You know, this is pretty far removed, I would say, from Elise or Eastland or anything like that. Ameline is, I actually like Ameline's sculpt. I wouldn't mind seeing more of her, and as we mentioned in First Impressions, you know, she is very Diana Ross. You know, I've seen a lot of people comparing her to Diana Ross, and I definitely appreciate that she has, you know, some sort of nice, you know, textured curls and kind of, you know, a hairstyle we don't see super often on Integrity Toys dolls. And the nude screening is, you know, a little bit simple. I would say it's kind of a nude screening. The makeup isn't very loud.
I like the makeup,
but
I think that gold eyeshadow is really nice. And it's something that I don't see too often in some of the other releases of other dolls is the eyes are two tones. It's like a brown and a green, so it's like a mixture of both.
Oh.
Yeah.
Maybe that was them trying to go for a, actually, I guess
Like
I couldn't
a-
really say hazel because it's kind of the green is, yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. So I like
Yeah.
that. That's kind of cool. The dresses actually looks better than the actual real life dress, if I have to say. She's better than what we were expecting for the convention doll, so.
I really like how these rhinestones glimmer on the dress.
Yeah.
Yeah, the bedazzling that kind of goes on with the Jason Wu dresses on IT dolls or something else. So it makes you even like, even if you're not, whether or not you enjoy the doll, the dresses are always hard to say no to.
I think it's kind of interesting that she's in the Jason Wu box, even though she's a convention doll. I would love it to be like the other box or like another special edition box rather than just a Jason Wu.
That's true.
Yeah.
Well, they did the same, didn't they, for Live from Fashion Week? Because
Yeah.
the convention doll was also in a Jason Wu box.
Yeah, I wish it was more of like a collaboration rather than like, hey, this is a Jason Wu doll that you're getting because you're here. So I know we said we're gonna talk about the convention collection, but we do have two other dolls here that we want to talk about. These are the upgrade dolls. So we have
Petite Robe Classique Adele Makeda and Petite Robe Classique Nuit Veronique Perrin.
yes, correct us in
Yeah.
the comments. Although no one actually corrected us in last time.
Nobody knows.
No, yeah, no one knows. French is like
I'm sure
a
someone
yeah.
who speaks French can smack us and correct us. I think, you know, it's really funny. These two, I would say both of them make more of an impression in person. You know, they do pair well together. It's kind of like a monochrome black and white. Definitely set the precedent for this convention because, as we've said, this is a very monochrome convention. You know, and I know in like the storylines, like Veronique and Adele are, you know, like besties. This Veronique is a little simple for my taste. She's just very one tone, and I think the thing about her screening too on that skin tone, and then the fact that she has blonde hair, I don't know, it washes her out a little bit. But I'm gonna have to, you know, I might have to get her fully dressed and see how those pink gloves, you know, pop on her and all that. But overall, I wouldn't say it's my favorite Veronique. I am definitely more of a fan of the Adele.
So I actually was really excited to see this Veronique in person. I'm a fan of Veronique, especially both versions of Veronique. I think having a little black dress is really nice to have. It's very versatile. I just think the big bow is a little distracting, but it's a lovely doll. I think I prefer the other popular screening for Veronique 2.0. I think this one's kind of adventurous, and I like that, but I think I've been having so much bad luck with these dolls. Like all my dolls are wonky, and this one is also kind of wonky. The effort is there, and I love it, but yeah, they need some quality control because I'm kind of sad. It takes the joy out of collecting sometimes.
Yeah, but I think Adele from this pairing is definitely my favorite. I would actually maybe go as far as to say she might be one of my favorite con adjacent dolls in general. This screening on her is so gorgeous. Like, I love that really striking lip liner and then sort of like that, you know, that nice shimmery gloss. So I think the thing about Adele 2.0 is that certain releases of her can have a bit come off like she's giving a harsh expression, you know, because tends to have like kind of stern eyebrows and like narrowed eyes. But this one, I think there's something I don't know, she just hits different. She's very seductive. I think, you know, she doesn't come off as harsh as some of the other Adele 2.0s I've seen. I'm in love with her lips. I really enjoy, you know, her hairstyle is pretty similar to, you know, the paired Veronique.
I would love if it was like flipped, like the other way, because they'll be like opposite.
Oh, that would have been super cute.
Yeah, it was like flipped the other way.
I think Sang and I are a little bit split on her outfit because I mean, it sort of depends on how it's used, but I actually do tend to like polka dots. I think it gives a little bit of a youthful sort of Minnie Mouse connotation to something that would otherwise be very mature and high fashion.
I have the opposite. I get like Cruella de Vil kind of like mean-spirited like outfit, like Dalmatian.
I think the thing about her too is the texture of her dress and how it almost feels like it's like a shimmering white. I appreciate it a bit more than Veronique's dress. I think this one pops a little bit more. And yeah, that screening on Adele is just so gorgeous. I think it's one of the loveliest Adele 2.0 screenings I've seen in recent history.
All right, so we are on to the convention collection. And first off, we have this beautiful Agnes that is different from the box. This is Intimate Soiree, Agnes von Weiss. You know what? These are dolls. We're gonna call her whatever we want. I'm sorry. Online and Carol, you call them whatever, but yeah. So she is based on we thought that she was gonna be based on Intimate Reveal Agnes, and she's totally not.
So yeah, as we said before in our first impressions video, this Agnes is very gothic, vampy, vampire queen. This Agnes is inspired by 2007's Intimately Acquainted Lucia, who was also very wearing like all black earthing and very vampy, sort of like Victorian, but she was a little bit more showgirl
She has a little top hat
looking, I would say. Intimate Soiree is more vampire queen ready for a night out on the town. Honestly, I don't really have a ton to add from my initial first impressions. I am really loving that fur piece with, you know, the red tinsel once again.
They always give Agnes the best stockings too. Like I like the
little like thingies.
accents to the stockings.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Her outfit's kind of is based off of Soeur de Paris, so it's a bit more of like a lingerie kind of like strappy look.
Very, very old IT dolls.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the interesting thing is a lot of the inspirations for the Legendary collection are from like really old IT dolls, like back when they were just getting started. Very striking Agnes. I think just because again of our expectations and perception, we were just a little shell-shocked by her. She is lovely. Her dress is simpler than I would like it to be, and as we keep saying, it's just there was so much black and white this convention. She's wearing so much black that
I actually really like her makeup. I think the really dark eyeshadow and the really like deep red lipstick really pop. And I love that she has kind of the beauty mark. I love beauty marks on dolls. Her outfit's a little plain, but I think when you add in her shoes and you add into her accessories, you actually get quite bang for your buck with this doll. I think I love the shawl that she has, and I think her outfit would take away from it if that was too like over designed. And you have to keep in mind, like, there's cool little detailing on her. Like, if you notice the way it's stitched up the sides or like bunched up at the side, that's really cool. The seam work on this doll is great too. If you just glance at her, she's just completely black, but there's little subtle details to her. You know, she has the lacy trim at the bust, and you know, her accessories are really cool. So there's a lot going on with her if you give her a chance, and I think she's a very unique Agnes as well.
Yeah. Next up, we have Style Legacy Isabella Alves, and she is a brand new character introduced to fashion royalty. She was designed by Jessie Ayala, and I believe she's the first Afro-Latina character to be introduced to the fashion royalty line. She is one of the dolls from the convention that there was a big sway for me in terms of my impressions of her based on the promos and when I saw her in person. You know, the promos, I think, made it a little bit tougher to appreciate her individual details, and it seems like the saturation was kind of cranked on her promo images because her hair looked really dark to the point that it almost to me just looked like a standard, like, you know, like a dark brunette or something like that. There were some folks who were making comments as well, though, that they thought her skin tone looked darker in the promos compared to when they actually received her in person. But, you know, there's fluctuations in saturation for promos all the time. But in person, you can see she has kind of like this auburn...
There's a bit more of like a red hue to it.
A red hue to her hair, which is very cute. And I appreciate her makeup quite a bit more in person. I think there's a really unique sheen to her lipstick that we don't see very often in Integrity Toys dolls. And I even want to say like her profile in terms of her sculpt, it's a really unique like side profile.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
you don't see that very often in Integrity's Toys dolls, just like the shape of her face. She is really beautiful. I think she's probably one of my favorite dolls from the convention.
I have nothing against her sculpt. I think her screening is a little bizarre as the first release. I don't know, I'm never a big fan of ceiling eyes, where like you kind of like looking up constantly.
Yeah, she's very like...
Yeah, like she's like
really looking up.
Like
yeah.
drugged out. I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend, but she looks a little like she's like zoning out or drugged out.
Yeah.
But I think she's lovely. I seen some people I think someone made an edit where she's like looking sideways, or just so they kept the same screening, but she's just looking off the side. She looks great. So I think there's a lot of potential here. Before we get into her outfit is actually based on another doll. So even though she's a new character, her outfit and styling is based off another old doll, and it is Style Renaissance Adele Makeda. And you can definitely see the inspiration. It's like the colors are a little different, but they have a similar like motif, like the really puffy sleeves and this corset bustier thing.
Yeah, because the Adele is wearing like a bustier kind of, and Isabella has like this, you know, this little corset bodice. I really love her outfit in person. I think it's so fun. You know, I really love the different textures on her and how we have, you know, these sheer puffed sleeves, and I love how it's like tipped off to the side a little bit.
I mean, I literally bought this doll just because I want these puff sleeves.
So cute.
Yeah,
yeah, and they are separate.
Yeah,
pieces.
they're removable, I believe.
Yeah, separate pieces. So cute.
And this fabric, like, they really should, whoever takes photos for IT should really get their monitors
recalibrated.
What should they keep that in? Max said the word. Because, because you can't really, because it looks black in the photos, and then, like, it's like this deep navy blue in person, and you don't really appreciate the fact that this piece right here has a really nice crunch, like,
the texture.
Yeah.
I think the thing that I love about her, there's so many different textures. Like, you have this very velvety feel of her bodice, and then the really soft satiny feel, like organza feel of her, you know, her sleeves, and then you have this kind of rough texture to, you know, like the cut of her dress. Yeah, she has a lot of different textures, and she's just much more colorful than we were anticipating from the promos. So we are a fan of Isabella Alves. I definitely, you know, I think this sculpt has a lot of potential. I love this design. I love this outfit. So big fan. Enjoyed her a lot more once I actually saw her in person.
Next up, we have In Control Erin. And I know last video we talked about her inspiration, which is Control Clash Erin. So we won't go over that too much, but she is a very lovely doll. Max has also opened her. I think she's a lot lovelier in person.
I'm a little frustrated that when it comes to these waves and curls on Integrity dolls, like once you have a small handful of flyaways, it's so hard to get it all back together unless you totally like spray it down and wet it and restyle it and all that. I am a huge fan of this jacket in person. I think just the texture of it is so nice, and you see, you know, it's lined in the interior. I just love how it feels. You know, it has kind of like this really soft, pleathery texture, and I'm, you know, I've said many times on this channel, I'm a huge, huge fan of faux fur. Her shoes are gorgeous. They're such a vibrant red, and I love, you know, it matches her lips. I really like this Erin, and yeah, as we mentioned, you know, the fact that she's kind of a modern recreation of Control Clash, which I also thought was a really cool doll. You know, we kind of addressed in our Style Lab video that this is kind of the exact type of thing that as modern IT collectors, it's really cool to see from the Legendary theme, where it's literally a modern spin on an older IT grail, but you're using more current sculpts and, you know, fashion stylization. So it would have been cool to see a little more of this type of thing throughout the whole convention, but I am a huge fan of this Erin.
I love her shoes. I think her shoes are probably one of like the standout points for her.
Yeah.
She's very thematic, and I love that about dolls when they have like a very concise theme. I think her outfit overall is stunning, and I think she makes a good companion to, because she reminds me in my head, she reminds me of something you would wear during like cold weather, and I think of London, I think like trench coats in London. So I think she'd be a very great companion if you have the Naja from last year, the London show. I think they both would look great together, and like the quality of the jacket outside here is very similar to that as well.
This is another doll, I love the textures so much because the outfit underneath it's so soft, you know, and obviously she has, of course, that really sheer situation underneath where it's almost like, it's not chainmail, but it has kind of a vibe of like chainmail, you know, mesh. And so I think because of that, she gives off a similar aura to 24K Erin, because she's has
like a
this
mishmash of all like these really popular Erins, which I really appreciate.
Yeah.
And I think she's a great example of what Max was talking about in the last couple of videos, of being monochromatic, but also having a pop of color.
With the red.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So like it's monochromatic, so it's on theme with the convention, but this nice pop of color that isn't too stand out, but also adds a lot of interest. We guessed kind of wrong. We thought she might be one of the most sought after dolls of the convention. She's not
popular.
Again, you know, we talked about how there's been a lot of great Erins in the past, so it's kind of like takes away from her. All right, so we have a very special doll here. I think both Max and I's favorite doll of the convention. This is Not Pretending Eden Blair, and she is again based on another very popular doll of the past, the Great Pretender Lilith. I don't know what else to say about them that we haven't expressed, but she is even better in person.
We've been talking a lot about textures this video, or I have. I think that's a strength of this convention. I think even though there was a little bit too much black and white in the color schemes, there's been so many textures because we've gotten pleather and mesh and silky, satiny, and I think the fact that we get this like Chanel tweed aesthetic on Erin, but what I love is the Chanel tweed is lined, so you have kind of this puffier fabric on the inside, so it's just like such a sensory experience. She's just stunning. I mean, she's so cute, and
I think the thing that the designers have done really well in this convention, even though I think every doll has their own interpretation, the idea that they're all thematic in the sense that they are, again, black and white, but there is this pop of color. Jesse and David and Chris did an amazing job of keeping on that theme while also having their own spin on things. Well, Eden, like, she's again black and white, but there's this pop of pink, which is very on theme to her inspiration, the Great Pretender, who is very, very heavy like pink. So this is a very great interpretation of that while also being very unique herself.
Yeah, I think one of the things that is really a testament to Jesse's, you know, very modern fashion sense, as well as obviously the Chanel tweed aesthetic is so timeless, iconic, and decades old. But I think what makes this look so trendy and modern is I love kind of the mixed material transition of, you know, the little black fabric cut off on the top, and then you have, like, even though Chanel tweed is very often very kind of classy and that kind of thing, but then she's wearing this little like crop top beneath it, so I love that it's this like sexy, cute splash of vintage but still very modern and fashionable. And you know, of course, we are aware that like a lot of Integrity Toys clothes and doll fashion in general is inspired directly by existing real world high fashion pieces, but I think this whole situation is just so cute and sexy and classy and just the right amount of colorful. You know, and I did notice there were some people who kind of disagreed with, I saw some comments on her little bear backpack and that kind of thing, and there were some people who were like, oh, that's like too much, that's too like it doesn't pair, or it's too cutesy in comparison to whatever. I've said this prior, but I know it's not necessarily the widespread Integrity Toys opinion, but I personally really appreciate when they do something that's kind of outside the realm of very traditional high fashion catwalk runway. I love when there's little splashes of cute, or again, like pop culture based, and just little dashes of kind of contrasting, unexpected flourishes.
Yes. I want to say that although this is very Chanel, it's also kind of based on the movie Clueless, because like they also have the bear backpacks in that movie as well. Yeah.
She was arguably one of the top like 2 most popular dolls of the entire convention by most people. So.
Something about the conventions that really prefer new face.
Yeah.
All right, so we're on to Poppy, and our very first Poppy is another favorite of mine. I think Max and I will disagree on this one. This is Black Tie Poppy Parker. I think she's very gorgeous. She's very black and white. I think the biggest thing about this particular Poppy that some people don't like, I know that Max doesn't like, is how big the hair is. But I've seen people who wash out the hair and get rid of that really big curl behind her and gives it more like soft, kind of wavy curls. I think she will look great. But she is inspired by Portrait in Black, which was one of the very first Poppy, I think the first year Poppy was around. I really appreciate David flipping the fabric around. So the black top of Portrait in Black is now the bottom portion of the dress on Black Tie, and that very nice fabric that was used on the skirt dress portion of the previous inspiration is on top.
Yeah, I think that's a little touch to appreciate as a Grail inspiration. But yes, Sang hit the nail on the head for me in terms of my tastes on this Poppy. Truthfully, I would probably say this was my least favorite Poppy of the convention. She was just too monochrome, and as I said, the bumps and the beehives and the really high ponytails and bumps on Poppy, it was just excessive for the past few releases. And the screening is cute, but I wouldn't really say it's anything we haven't seen before. It's a little bit similar, we've discussed, it has similar vibes to Chiller Thriller, but between the two, I absolutely would prefer Chiller Thriller. But I think if you want a very, very nude Poppy, like a subdued screening, this one would be cute.
Like going back to Lovely and Lilac Poppy, for some reason in the promo images, her hair looks higher up, but I think in person, I think Lilac one, it looks very...
I think that's another reason I don't like the big bumps on these dolls, because how large they are varies so much doll to doll, and it's just become such a common hairdo on Poppy. Like, it made multiple appearances in Model Traveler, it made multiple appearances in the convention dolls.
It's a very cute screen.
It's cute for sure.
When you think about it, like, depends what kind of collector you are, because I think she would be a very cute doll to redress. She's very neutral enough that you'd be able to put her in different outfits and still make it work. And some of the more thematic hairdos and screenings can be a bit more difficult to redress. And we'll get to that when we get to Commanding Attention, who I think has a very fun makeup, but I mean, yeah. So on to something that I think both Max and I would agree on, and this is another Poppy. This one is Dazzling Debut Poppy Parker. Absolutely stunning. Yes. Hands down the best Poppy of the convention.
So cute.
No competition.
Absolutely adorbs.
So yeah, this is something both me and Max agree on. This is the most stunning Poppy of the convention. And we have one out of the box here. And something we noticed now that we have taken out of the box is that she has a bit of a curl. She has a little bit of wave at the end of her hair, which is really cute.
Yeah, which I think is really important to her appeal, because what I love about it is it allows you, if you're photographing her from the front, you can kind of spread her hair out kind of nicely.
So she is based on Reluctant Debutante, Poppy Parker, again from the very first Poppy line. They look a little different from each other, which I don't mind.
The cut of the design of this coat looks almost identical to Lemon Frost,
Yes.
Poppy Parker. So, who was a giveaway at Lux Life convention. It was also gorgeous Poppy. I loved her. So this, I love this Poppy. I think I love her more in person. I think in terms of, in this one she doesn't really have a bump, but her hair is tied back, and I think it looks so cute, you know, and I love the fact that there's a little bit of a curl to it. The clothes. I mean, even if you're not a Poppy fan, these clothes are worth owning alone. So Dazzling Debut's dress is apparently a replica of an original Pierre Cardin, that might be Pierre Cardin, 1967 dress worn by Mia Farrow. Yeah.
It's a lovely dress, and I think David really captured that. I think this is custom made like fabric. There's no way they would just make this as small, huh?
Yeah, I mean, and that's just the killer, is this dress. I mean, the beadwork and embroidery, and it's just completely covered in this gorgeous, you know, floral embroidery. And it's so colorful. I think that's one of the things too that this Poppy offers that this convention was kind of lacking, is she's really colorful and fun. And you know what, whether it's playline or high-end collector dolls, I think in general, when you see a lot of kind of intricate embroidery, it always just, it gives you that extra boom factor. She's definitely fave Poppy from the convention, and it's so cute how her little accessories and like her earrings and her ring are also floral to match.
Mm-hmm. They're reprints, but they definitely fit this Poppy. Yeah, the dress is amazing. If she was sold as just in this dress, I would not even like question the quality or like if there was any budget cuts. And I think the coat is a nice extra touch to it. But yeah, the dress itself is worth the Poppy.
Gorge,
Yeah.
we love her.
So we are now on to the Salesroom exclusive, and this is where Max and I have differed in our purchase. I pass up on this one.
Yes, but she is from the Meteor collection, and she's my first ever Meteor doll. This is Mischievous Kiki Adaze.
I think her inspiration for her outfit is based on a gem doll, or gem fashion pack, I want to say. I think a viewer has mentioned it in the comments, and we'll put it here to give credit, as well as some of the W Club members also mentioned as well. It's an outfit for one of the Misfits characters, and that makes sense. I mean, you can definitely put this outfit on a gem doll if you want, and I think that makes sense why they have the gem hands, or the color fusion hands.
I think she's really fun. As many of y'all may already know, I'm just kind of a sucker in general for fantasy hair colors, and so I saw lavender curly hair and I thought it was really pretty. And I have not unboxed mine yet, but maybe we'll show a photo here. Another friend of ours who was at the convention did unbox his. And her curls look really lovely out of box. Yeah, we thought it was the exact hair color as Mademoiselle Eden, but it's not. She does not use the pastel amethyst, I think was the name of that Eden. And so this one doesn't give off quite as much of an almost pinkish reddish hue.
It's hard to tell because again, like the whole box is the same color, so it's kind of hard to see.
Yeah.
But they are very similar. She doesn't do anything for me. I love her boots. It just sucks. I think the Meteor dolls have smaller feet.
Actually, both of the Meteor dolls had banging shoes.
Yeah, they did.
Really nice shoes. Yeah, so I really appreciate the boots. The outfit, I think, won't be for everyone. I think especially like paired with this face and hairstyle, it does give some like mom experiencing a midlife crisis vibes. And the jacket's really like baggy. Like it's really like a baggy kind of jacket.
It makes sense. I mean, it's based on the Gem series. So
I mean, once you open it though, it's like bam. It's like just a little leopard print bra top and super, like pleather mini skirt. I think she's fun. She's one of those dolls where I feel like depending on your tastes, you're probably gonna want to like change little things about her and like redress her and do her up however you want to do her, but you know, that was kind of the point for me of this purchase.
This is the doll I purchased instead of Kiki, and this one is Fierce Zuri Okoti. She is, again, part of the Meteor line, and her inspiration is something someone pointed out on the W Club. It's a outfit worn by Mary J. Blige. It's very similar, minus the fact that the hair is a different color. And I would love if her hair was a little bit lighter color, maybe like the platinum blonde. The reason I chose her over Kiki is because I do like that more monochromatic look. And I think, again, the shoes are amazing.
Oh my god, I love her boots. I was considering buying her for the boots alone. She's a little simple for my taste. You know, I do really appreciate kind of the aesthetic of her bodysuit. It's kind of like this black, shimmery night sky look. And I do appreciate the fact that, you know, a lot of folks seems to point out that the past two Zuri releases were softer and kind of not as bold as her debut release when Meteor, you know, first started out, where she had like the gap tooth, and that was kind of like some polarizing responses to that.
She also had kind of ceiling eyes. I think Vaughn did a very good job of like listening to criticism, and he made those changes. And yeah, I mean they're getting better.
Yeah, this one's selling point is the boots for sure. Both of the Meteor dolls had amazing shoes this con. So next up we have She's That Witch Sookie, and we were gushing over her in the first impressions, and that has not changed now that we have her in person. Something worth talking about when it comes to this Sookie is I noticed there was a lot of conversation whether or not there was any alteration made to her sculpt, because there were some people saying that I think it looks like there were little differences in just like the shape of her lips, or I don't remember if it was like her nose specifically, where it just like it didn't look like it was the exact same sculpt. And we know that there's a lot you can change with screenings, but there were like side-by-side photos, and there was just a lot of discussion and people in the W Club forum saying like they weren't sure if there were slight alterations to her sculpt, you know, and it's been many years since the last Sookie release.
Yeah,
so.
I think with the newer sculpts in general, they're more defined. So maybe I don't know if there's any alterations, but it's just some of like the lips detailing is more defined in the nose. But it could just be over time things get more blurry. Yeah.
But she's so cute. She is so cute in person. I love her so much. You know, she has a very sweet, youthful face, but I also think she gives off just like a different vibe from the last Sookie. Kind of similar to, you know, to In Control Erin, where we mentioned that it's kind of a modern spin on a classic doll. I would say the same about this Sookie. I think this screening, the older Sookies, you have kind of a little bit of like this glazed over, slightly cartoonier look, which was more in line with older IT. I think with She's That Witch, she looks modernized. I think she looks the screening, and like we said, we don't know if the sculpt was altered at all, but she does have a little bit more of a modern aesthetic to her face and her makeup and kind of her expression. The goths and fans of like all black got a lot of good stuff.
She's definitely one of the best dolls this convention. So we have another Poppy, and this one is Party in the Hamptons Poppy Parker. I think she's the most fascinating, like, inspired doll of this convention. And the reason for that is she is based on an old Poppy, again from very early on, I think the first collection, and that one's Holiday in the Hamptons. And the same pattern on the dress. But the dress design itself is based on another doll, and I think this is where it's very unique. It's based on a Vanessa Perrin, and that one's Intoxicating Mix Vanessa Perrin. And the outfit, the coat, the way the skirt is ruffled like that is based on this older Vanessa, and that's something you don't see very often.
That would have been cool to see more of at Legendary in general, like combinations of inspirations instead of like one doll, you know, recreated. It would have been cool to be like this Grail's screening with this Grail's outfit, or this, that would have been kind of cool to see more of that. Yeah, this Poppy is another one that like you love her more when you see her in person. I think she, you know, Poppy rocks the powdery Robin's Egg Blue so well, you know, with the eyeshadow. It's very popular style of screening, and I think the thing is she still, as with, you know, every other Poppy in this bunch, she kind of has a hair bump, but it's not really as accentuated as the other ones, and her outfit is just adorable. You know, I think it's cute. It seems like in the original inspiration, it was a little bit more of kind of like a bodysuit or a jumper. Yeah, and here they like turning it into a dress, I think was, you know, it's very cute. Again, she kind of goes with the very like monochromatic theme of this convention, but I do really appreciate the color pop of her lipstick and like the powder blues of, you know, her eyeshadow. Very cute Poppy. This one I think is going to be really versatile to redress and restyle as well. So very cute Poppy. I would probably say after Dazzling debut, this is probably my second favorite con Poppy.
Yeah, very fun makeup. Even though she has green eyes, it's kind of like a bluish green, like turquoise.
Yeah, like a seafoam kind of color. Yeah.
Yeah.
Super cute. It's more unique.
The last Salesroom exclusive convention doll we have here is something that I bought and Max did not, and we talked about last video why he didn't pick it, but I bought her and I think she's lovely. This is Red Hot Evelyn Weaverton. She is the lowest edition size of the convention. I think that's fair. Not a lot of people are on board with East 59, and I think that's just shame, especially with the new releases coming out. I think she will fit perfectly with that holiday themed line.
Oh, that is a deeper red in person. That's almost like a bordering on maroon almost. It's way deeper of a red than I was expecting the dress.
So yeah, that's the one thing I wanted to bring up. I think, again, whoever takes photos for integrity needs to have their screen color change, because she actually looks really different in person. Her main color on the dress right here,
it's close to like maroon almost.
Yeah.
Like the purplish kind of red. You know, I definitely think Chris is gonna be one to watch out for in the near future with like the designs he's been coming up with, because I think a lot of folks have kind of been sleeping on East 59th a little bit, us included, admittedly. But the last East 59th collection that just came out, this sparkling New Year's, you know, collection that sold out at a lot of dealers, didn't it? Yeah, it sold out, and it was super popular, and I think it feels like Chris is playing with color a lot more, and not just color, but dolls that look together in a set. Because like Sang mentioned in one of our last videos that it's really cute to display the past couple East 59th, the con dolls together, because they have this cute little like color scheme going of like a heavily green doll, heavily blue doll, and the new New Year's collection has a similar theme. So I think if he keeps doing stuff like that, and on top of just really cute flourishes like beadwork and faux fur and accessories,
you're not gonna find such great value than in 59. And I think the fact that, I know some people don't like the fact that some of the accessories are reused and reprints. I think that's part of the charm as well as value. Sometimes like you have to be able to make these changes and use some older jewelry in order to save money and give the consumer more value. It's not like that jewelry is going to be available forever. Like it might be available on this one Poppy that's impossible to get now. So it's nice to have those fashion pieces available elsewhere. My favorite thing is the beading on her top right there.
She's kind of giving me almost like, I'm curious if the inspiration was sort of like Latin based, because I'm getting like Latin
Salsa kind of thing?
Yeah, like salsa kind of vibes from her. But she is lovely. It's a lot of red, but
I know some people were saying that they miss her Widow's Peak, which is, I think it would have been fun to have.
Yeah, it might have given her a little bit more character.
But at least, less IMAX forehead. But and she's cool. I like her. I'm glad I got her. So we are not completely done yet. There's 2 other accessory packs that we have to talk about. So offered within the, IT shop was these cute little accessory packs. So there's one for the hands and one for the shoes. And the packaging is absolutely gorgeous. again, like what Max was saying, that these are kind of like makeup palettes.
You would find these in Sephora. Like, yeah, the packaging is super cute, and something I appreciate, and it's really cute too, like the way they labeled it. It's kind of like eyeshadow shades, like the way they name them, like romance, seduction, très chic. Very unique color palettes. You know, we have like, for especially like the nails, there's lime green nails and silver nails.
And I think if you compare it to the shoes, they are the same color palette.
Mm-hmm.
So you got lime green shoes to match with the lime green fingernails.
They really went next level with similarities to makeup packaging, because there's even like it feels like you're opening up a palette basically, and there's like a little mirror inside with the legendary logo. I really appreciate this packaging. I would maybe say this is the greatest success of the packaging design they were like going for this convention. Mm-hmm. Like, I would even say if Agnes's face wasn't on anything else, it would be a fit on this.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Yeah.
It makes more sense on here than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I really love these shoes. I think these are great shoes, very versatile in order to achieve readjustability. The hands are a little bit more of a toss-up, because again, I love the idea, but the execution's a little bit funky, because what if you don't have a Nubian skin tone doll? Then you can't use those hands.
Yeah, I think it's going to be very situational how you're realistically going to be able to use them. I would appreciate this more as well if there were more variation in hand poses. I think that would have been super exciting. I think if there was something like a clutching position, or maybe even, you know, we lost our minds when we see we're finally getting a shot at like Poppy's peace sign hands. I think if there were variation of posing in these, it would have been so dope. Yeah. That concludes the first part of our legendary haul. So we hope you guys enjoyed it. Definitely let us know what you thought of the convention collection, Salesroom exclusives, and giveaway dolls. So make sure to stay tuned for part 2, which is going to be the centerpieces and the style lab. And that will totally wrap up everything we have received from this convention, except for Ayumi and Eugenia. And make sure to check out our full playlist of Integrity Toys if you want even more reviews and discussions. Let us know what you guys want to see next from Integrity Toys in general on our channel.
And of course, we had promised you guys at least one review of one of these dolls. So let us know in the comments who you want to see us open, even if it's one that we're already open. A lot of them we do have duplicates in terms of like both me and Max bought them. And of course, on screen here, if you want to play this game with us, this time I'll actually include what we each purchased and the final count of how much money we spent. If you didn't go, or you can want an idea of what kind of money you'll be spending at a convention, we'll list it here and see how much debt and how much blood or organs you need to sell.
Alright, hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't, and we will see you next time. Bye!
Bye!